All right, when Linus Torvalds talks about technology, smart people listen. And recently, his comments about AI have definitely gotten a lot of people's attention. So the creator of Linux, the operating system running most of the world's servers, supercomputers, and Android phones, just called out the entire AI industry on its hype. And after 25 years in tech, I'm here to tell you why he's absolutely right. So having spent decades watching tech trends come and go, I've seen this pattern before. Incredible promises, clouded by marketing exaggeration, and Torvalds' perspective cuts right through the noise with the precision you'd expect from someone who's built one of the most important pieces of software in history. So if you're a developer wondering whether AI is going to replace your job or whether it's just another tool in your arsenal, Torvalds' take might really interest you. So let's dive in and we'll break it down here together today. Welcome to Startup Pack. I'm Spencer Thompson. Here at Startup Pack, we love to train software developers and our licensed coding boot camps and build custom software solutions for companies. With a decade of executive leadership as a fractional CTO and 25 years in software development, I've mastered transforming tech teams and products. All right. So if you're not familiar with who Linus Torvalds is, he's the Finnish software engineer who created the Linux kernel in 1991 and led its development ever since. So essentially building the foundation of much of modern computing. So at a recent open source summit in Vienna, Torvalds describes the current AI industry as 90% marketing and 10% reality. And this is coming from someone who revolutionized computing, and so that's a perspective worth considering. So this isn't the first time that he's expressed skepticism about AI either. He expressed previously, and he described AI systems as essentially autocorrect on steroids, acknowledging their usefulness while cutting through the grandiose claims. So after watching countless technology hype cycles over 25 years in the software development, I've found that Torvalds' no-nonsense approach to technology trends sometimes ruffles some feathers, but I find it refreshingly honest and accurate. So Linus Torvalds is the Finnish software engineer who created the Linux kernel at age 21 while studying at the University of Helsinki, releasing the first version in 1991. Now, he's not just a programmer, but a revolutionary who changed computing by making the Linux source code freely available, launching open source movements that power everything from Android phones to 96% of the world's top supercomputers. You got it. This guy's written the stuff that's gone into most of the large computers that's actually running AI. So beyond Linux, Torvalds also created Git, the version control used by pretty much every software developer out there. I actually haven't talked to anybody in the last 10 years who's used anything different. So he's been recognized with numerous prestigious awards and been inducted into the Internet Hall of Fame for his contributions to technology. So while known for his blunt communication style, Torvalds has he's definitely earned the right for his opinions through decades of technical excellence and a proven track record of identifying what matters in computing. So when someone who's shaped modern computing as profoundly as Torvalds speaks about technology trends, his perspective carries a lot of weight regardless of whether you ultimately agree with him or not. So if he says something, you might want to listen to it. So at the recent open source summit in Vienna, Torvalds didn't mince words, stating that, quote, the whole tech industry around AI is a very bad position. It's 90% marketing and 10% reality, end quote. So this ratio perfectly captures what many of us in development have observed, an explosion of AI announcements, startups, and rebranding that far outpace the actual technology capabilities currently available. So having lived through a lot of previous tech bubbles, I've seen this pattern before. Revolutionary tech gets oversold to drive investments in stock, create unrealistic expectations that the technology can't possibly meet. Now, Torvalds isn't saying that AI is worthless, but 10% reality part is the key part here. He acknowledges that there's something genuinely valuable beneath all the hype, but it's not nearly as world-changing as the marketing suggests. Now, the danger of this hype imbalance is that it leads to poor business decisions, wasted resources, and eventually disillusionment with AI fails to deliver on exaggerated promises. Now, the thing that's really got me is I'm shocked at how many trillions of dollars have been pumped into AI because nobody wants to miss out. Everybody wants to try to cash in on this opportunity to build something that they can pay once and then use over time instead of employing people, which requires massive amount of overhead. So my years in software development has taught me that most transformative technologies usually arrive with less fanfare and more steady, demonstrated progress than what we're seeing with current AI marketing. You want two good examples on this topic? Linux, the Linux kernel, and Git, right? Both came without a lot of fanfare, with very little marketing material, and slowly built over time to where they've dominated their markets. Now, in previous discussion, Torvalds described modern AI as autocorrect on steroids, a simple but remarkably accurate technical assessment of how large language models actually function. So this description cuts through the mystique and hype, highlighting at their core, these systems are powerful pattern matching tools and predictive text that should come next, but not the sentient beings that some marketing might have you believe. So as someone who's built software for a long time, I appreciate Torvalds' knack for simplifying complex technologies to their essence. These systems excel at suggesting completions based on patterns, just like autocorrect, but with vastly more data and computing power. So what makes this comparison so effective is that it acknowledges both the utility and the limitations of AI in one concise phrase. Useful for certain tasks, but fundamentally limited in ways that marketing often glosses over. So just recently I was working with a client. We've been trying to get an AI tool to work. We've tried to use it for about 6 months, and then lo and behold to find out that the people making the product canned it because it didn't meet expectations. Surprise, right? We've been hearing this over and over again lately. So while autocorrect on steroids might sound dismissive, it's actually a useful framework for understanding both what current AI can do as well as fundamental limitations that it still faces. So I find most valuable in Torvalds' commentary is his balanced perspective, and that's what I would tell everybody to do right now. AI has some great tools. It's got a lot to do, but is it going to replace developers? Not even close. You still got a long time, and organizations need to embrace this and understand they're going to need a lot of developers to be able to figure out how to implement this powerful new tool. So ultimately, Torvalds' perspective reminds us of what should be obvious, but often gets lost in hype cycles. Technology should be evaluated based on its ability to solve real problems effectively, not a bunch of fancy chatbots. Now, what are your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you disagree? I love to have a great conversation. Here at Startup Hack, we love to train software developers in our licensed coding boot camps, as well as to build custom software solutions for companies. So reach out to us. We'd love to help. And here's some great information about our coding boot camps if you're looking to level up some of your skills or dive into a new career, because software development is awesome.
Want to become a software developer but don't want to spend 4 years in college and rack up massive student loan debts? Think you need technical expertise to get started? Welcome to Startup Hack, a better way to start your software career without student loans and years without income. One-on-one tutoring is included so you never get stuck and have guidance through the whole process. No technical experience is necessary. Learn at your own pace and in your own space. Startup Hack has worked with local state agencies in your area to make it so that qualifying students can get the program costs covered entirely and students can start earning while they learn.
Startup Hack's .NET Coding Bootcamp was a game changer for my career. As someone with no prior programming experience, I was initially intimidated by the idea of learning to code, but the instructors at Startup Hack broke down complex concepts into easy to understand lessons and provided hands-on projects that really cemented my understanding. The curriculum was comprehensive and up to date and got me ready for my first job. What really set Startup Hack apart was the focus on practical, real-world skills. Thanks to Startup Hack, I landed my dream job as a .NET developer within weeks of graduating. I went from knowing nothing about code to building professional-grade web applications in just a few intense months. If you're looking to break into .NET development or level up your coding skills, I cannot recommend Startup Hack enough.
Complete our 3-month coding bootcamp, gain hands-on experience, and land a paid internship. With 2 years of experience on average, our graduates are making over $80,000 per year. The 3-month program includes technologies from Microsoft, Google, and Facebook. No debt, just a quick path to earning. Check out startuphack.com to code your future and start today.